Hello, it's me, San from Sensational VSG. I'm coming back at you again with my 4th week update. It is officially 1 month, and I want to share some good news with you. Let's get into the stats. I'm 34 years old. I am 5'6". I had VSG on April 6, 2017 with Dr. Summers at Hudson Valley Hospital. My highest weight was 297. My pre-op diet weight was 277. At surgery, it's 265. Now, last week I talked about a gain that I had last week, and I went up to 255, which was a 2.6 pound gain. And this week, drum roll, I am 250.2. I lost 4.8 pounds. Woo! I actually met my milestone, one of my milestones, so I'm really happy about that. I am back on the Losr's bench. I am seeing some gains in terms of weight loss. So I'm really happy. One of my milestones was to lose 5% of my surgery weight, which would be to 51.8, and I am 250.2. I passed that by ounces, and I'm super happy about that. So yeah, we are going back down to the right direction. My next milestone is actually losing 10%, and another milestone is to be under 247. So it's around the corner. I can't wait to be in the 40s. I really can't wait to be in the 240s. Looking at my FitnessPal's history, the last time I was 250 was January 30, 2015. After that, I just kept going up and down, and lately just up. And so I am super stoked that I am 250 and soon will be in the 240s. So it's the small victories. I love it. So what are the changes I've made this week that I feel contributed to such a successful week? Well, definitely more water. People said it, people were right. Drink the water and add the protein. Definitely getting your protein in. For me, my goal set by my surgeon and their team or their program was 60 grams a day. So I've been making that every day. Well, not every day. One day I was under, but I don't know why. I have to look at my history. But I'm looking at my history now on my FitnessPal, and I thought I'd share that too later in a moment. Also, the 4th week is the week that I can add and try different textured foods. Now, they said you can add it, but you don't have to, especially if you're having bad reactions to them. So this week I added ground beef. I made like 3 recipes with ground beef. I just had so much ground beef, it was ridiculous. Well, it's because you have a small pouch now, so I'm not able to eat all that ground beef, so I have so much of it in the fridge. Also, I added chicken wings. Well, chicken wings from Whole Foods. I've added the chicken wings before week 3, and no, didn't help. They didn't settle well. But this week, it did go down rough only because I overcooked them this week. So this week I overcooked them, and they were a little stiff, so I had to really, really chew, and it went down a little rough. But they were still good. They didn't cause a need for it to come back up or any dumping. Didn't cause any of that. Or cramping. It just sat heavy in my stomach. The ground beef being denser also sat heavy in my stomach, but it didn't cramp my stomach or wanted me to throw it up. Another food that I added this week was shirataki noodles. Some of you may know what that is. It's pasta zero. It's like, it's in the tofu section, and they're in watery bags, and bags full of water, and they're like in different shaped noodles. They have spaghetti, angel hair, penne, fettuccine. And so I bought the spaghetti because I wanted to eat it with my meat sauce that I made with the ground beef. And the only problem with shirataki is that it could be bland. So it's very bland. It is bland. So when you add it to a dish, it has a potential of blanding the food if it's not well immersed. So I used it as an end dish, side. So I added to the end after cooking everything. And I just patted it dry, and then I put it in and tried to mix it in, but I could still taste the blandness with the meat sauce. So it felt like 2 different textures in my mouth. And it went down kind of weird, you know. It didn't cause any discomfort. It didn't sit on top of my stomach like in the past, but it just was two different textures in my mouth. That was kind of weird. But I still love shirataki noodles. Just I have to cook it a little better. I've never cooked it per se. I don't know how you cook it. I just always served it the way it comes out of the bag. And I warm it with warm water. That's it. Sometime in the microwave. But that's it. And when I store it in water because it comes in water. I don't know. So I still have a lot of the shirataki noodles with the ground beef. I made lasagna. Ooh, not the traditional lasagna. It's something I wanted to try the ricotta bake, but I'm not a ricotta fan. I didn't want to waste the food. So I decided to just make lasagna. But instead of noodles, I use sliced, very thin sweet potato. And I sliced them with my mandolin slicer, very thin, and I layered it between the meat, the cheese. When I added the ricotta, it was towards the top. And I only did half of the dish with ricotta, half without. Because I wasn't sure how it was going to taste. I've never made lasagna. And lasagna in that fashion. So I've heard about it. I've heard of, I didn't look at a recipe. Maybe I should look one up. But I didn't look at a recipe. I just did it. And it came out really good. I know that next time I'll add a little bit more marinara sauce. And I'll add ricotta. Because the ricotta part of it was really good, actually. So maybe next time I'll do the whole thing with ricotta. So that was really nice. And I had 16 servings of it. That's half of a serving. It came out to 8 servings regular, but because we have a sleeve now, it had to be half of that serving, which ended up being 16 servings, which end up having a lot more in the fridge. So I have a lot more of that. And also I wanted to try tacos. I don't know why. I felt like I wanted something different. So I went and did taco meat. And I used the 45% less sodium or El Paso's taco seasoning with my ground beef, added onions and green peppers. Beautiful. Came out wonderful. And then I used their ranch flavored taco shells. Now I looked at the nutritional fact, and 2 shells were 18 grams of total carbs. If you actually do net carbs and divide it by 2, because it's 2 shells, it totals out to 8 grams of carb for 1 shell. And all I could eat is 1 shell, unless I have it twice in a day for 2 meals. It went down well, actually. It was, depending of how big of a bite, like I need to be careful with how big of a bite I take. I had to really chew. Then I swallow, and then I kind of wait it out. Didn't cause any cramping, didn't cause any dumping, and it didn't cause me to want to throw up, which is great. So I was able to eat the entire thing. Well, not really. Let me go back. I had to pace myself. I ate a couple of bites, and then I stopped and put it to the side and waited about 5-10 minutes, went back, ate some more bites, stopped, put it to the side. Like, doing that helped. Now, this week, what I really want to talk about, because I really want to make a long video, was 2 things. I started my job this week, like officially going back to work on Wednesday. I'm still on light duty, which means I can't lift my students, which what I work in a classroom. I'm a teacher by trade, and I can't lift the students, so I'm on light duty. I'm not really supposed to be back at work on light duty. But I have a lot of meetings and reports and things like that, paperwork to write, so that's why they're allowing me to come into work. I'm officially full duty on the 18th, or after the 18th, as told by my surgeon, to lift more than 15 pounds. And liability, I'm not supposed to touch the kids, lift them. So even with all of that, not lifting, my classroom is very high paced, very busy. It's always movement because we have to position kids, we have to get them into therapy. It's a lot. And also mats. Positioning sometimes is on mats, or when we have to interact with them, we have to bend low. So when I went down on the ground on the mat and then stood back up, I was very dizzy. I had to even brace myself, and they was like, "Oh my God, sit down. Don't push yourself." And it was embarrassing. But I'm trying not to push myself. It was just, it's just bending, like it's going down to the ground and coming back up. Like, why am I dizzy from that? Like, I made sure I drank my water. I made sure I drank my protein shakes. That's why I'm making these numbers. They're awesome. And I was like floored by the fact that I was still getting dizzy. So I'm going to talk to my surgeon about that. Maybe, I don't know why I'm dizzy all the time. But that's always when I'm in the classroom bending and standing back up. So I try not to do that, but the nature of my job, I have to. So that was one of the pet peeves I had this week. Another thing that really bothered me this week was cravings. I wasn't hungry and I was eating the right foods, as you can see. I was having cravings for sweets, like mad cravings. And I wanted chocolate cake. I wanted punchkis. Punchkis is like this Polish donut looking thing. It looked like a Boston cream donut, you know, covered with fillings in the middle. I don't know how to explain it, but that's what they look like, and Big Y sells them. And they're out of season now, but I was thinking about them. I wanted them, or a version of them. So I wanted that. I wanted Godiva chocolate. I wanted this particular pizza from this place near my job. It's like a chicken bacon ranch pizza, small little version of it. Full of grease, full of fat, don't need it, but I was craving it. I kept thinking about it. There was one day that I was at work thinking about it. I drove home thinking about it. I got home and I ate, and I was still thinking about cravings. Like, I wasn't physically hungry, but I just wanted to eat, and I wanted to eat certain sweets, certain foods. And that was crazy. I tried to do things to kind of get my mind off of it. It didn't help, especially that one day. I think it was like Thursday or Wednesday. No, I think it was Thursday. And I just kept thinking about it, or Wednesday, whichever. It just the whole week was like that. I had several days when I was going through the craving situation, and so I had the ice cream, the So Delicious coconut ice cream. And not to say as a cure for my cravings, because there's no cure for cravings but that food. But it was nice to have that little treat at the end of the day. And I only had it if my macros looked good, if my protein was on point and I was under my daily goal for carbs. I would have it. Now, as you can see on my FitnessPal, there was like four days I had the ice cream, 4 or 5 days I had the ice cream, and I still lost 4.8 pounds because I used it wisely, right? So now there's like huge controversy when it comes to cravings. Some people say just eat it, get it out of the way, get it out, just satisfy the craving so it won't bother you or it won't lead you to binge. But the problem is, in the past for me, when I did eat my cravings, it led to me binging. So I didn't want that to happen. And so 2 reasons why I didn't satisfy those cravings or give in to them was, 1, I'm not supposed to be eating those foods. That's off my plan. I want to eat on my plan. I want to see some weight loss. Because last week was a nice wake-up call, and I'm glad I had it. So I don't want to eat off my plan, or I want to stay within my macros. 2, I've heard horror stories of people like eating certain foods that were sweet in nature, having horrible reactions, either dumping, throwing up, feeling ill. Like, I don't want that. I can eat the So Delicious ice cream. One is alternative, and even though it has chocolate in it, for some reason, I don't have any issues with eating that. But who knows with eating that processed food, those sugary cakes and punchkis or the fillings in them. Like, I don't know what kind of reactions I would have. I don't want to get sick, and I don't want to mess up my sleeve, and I don't want to throw up or having any dumping. I don't want any of that. I already threw up once, and I'm done. And it wasn't even on sweets. It was on something like a vegetable, onions, and I still threw up. So no, I don't. The fear of something going wrong after consuming something like that is what keeps me not buying or eating those things, because I don't know how it will turn out. So those are the main reasons. So three reasons. The third one is, if I ate if I ate my cravings, will I stop? I could keep on going, and it may be a slider full of food, and I could just keep on consuming it and binge like I've done in the past. And I could binge to the point that I hurt my stomach, my little sleeves, and I could binge to the point that I'm consuming way too much calories, very little protein, just pretty much undoing my efforts so far. So that's another third reason why I didn't give in to my cravings. So it was now I don't have the cravings. Like today and yesterday, I didn't have any of the cravings, like the constant thought of wanting them. So I'm really happy about that. But when I do get them, so annoying. So annoying. Not only because I know I can't have it, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. Like, oh my God, I just ate something. Why am I still thinking about this particular food? Or, you know, I don't want to think about that. I want to think about healthy foods. Why can't I think about wanting a salad? You know, like, why can I have cravings for healthy foods? Like, why does it have to be those? So, yeah, the cravings was a challenge this week. And I think it was a challenge because I was eating correctly. I was eating on plan and I was getting the weight loss down. So it could be my fat self in the back of my mind saying, want to sabotage me, want to make me want to eat those things. But thanks to my sleeve, put me back into perspective. Thanks to the scale from last week that told me, you ain't gonna get no weight loss if you keep eating the way you want to. So yeah, I had to make the changes. Changes was uncomfortable. And it goes to show that the changes were uncomfortable because I wanted to go back to the way I ate. And now that I know that I can't, it was annoying, but oh well, I don't want to go back being big. I don't want the scale to go back up, okay? So I'm gonna continue the same things I've done this week. So this week, looking at my FitnessPal on the computer, they had this nice chart report, and you can see the last 30 days. Now, the last 30 days, my carb intake was out of control in the first 2 weeks of post-op. I was like over 100, like my highest was 140 grams, 111, 105. Like I had like 4 days of eating high, way over my my set goal. And my protein intake was low, very low. Like the lowest was like 9 grams. Ugh, no way. Well, the highest was 47. And that's only because I forced myself to drink those protein drinks. But I couldn't take it anymore because it would just sit in my chest. It was horrible. So I stopped drinking them and I preferred to drink my lemonade and iced tea and orange juice, and that's what shot me up. Now all those carbs that I had were all from liquid. It wasn't from eating like cookies or cake. It was drinking my calories. And the calorie intake also, because consuming very little calorie doesn't help you lose weight either. The lowest calorie I had was 198. I don't know why. Oh well, this is only 3rd day out of surgery, so yeah, that makes sense. 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that was the 3rd day. And the highest in those first 2 weeks was 970. Yeah, I wasn't making no kind of calorie gains. So last week, with all the changes that I've made, my protein has been perfect. I went over 77, like I was 78. I was doing really great. I always was over 60 grams, except for one day. I don't know why. Maybe I didn't write something in. And my carbs were all under 62 grams, except for one day where I went up to 66. And this is total gram carb. This is not net carbs. So anyone knows anything about low carb knows about net carbs. So these are all total carbs. That's how my FitnessPal enters them in. So, it looked good. So I was still within my 61 grams. Before I eat something, I always calculate it first. I was like, what if I do have that ice cream? Or what if I have an extra portion of the lasagna or something? Will it go over my macros? So I look at that and stuff, and if it does, then I don't eat it. But if it don't, then I eat it. So that's something I was doing too. Also, what I did this week was think about when I ate. So like today, I would eat at 3, and if I assess to see how I'm feeling, if I'm hungry or feeling like I'm on the verge, I would eat something protein heavy. If not, if I didn't feel hungry, I just drink a protein shake or a protein water and try to get my protein in that way. Anything else, I try to get my water in betweens. So yeah, so everything has been good. So thank you for listening. I'm sorry my video is very long. This is like my 5th take. I didn't know how to make it shorter. I don't know. So anyway, I'm super happy of this week's progress. I'm looking forward to next week. I want to be in the 240s. So I'm really excited about that. So definitely let me know how you guys do with your cravings, if you have any. I don't know, it's just crazy, you know. Those were some of my my struggles. And work too. Coming back to work. My work is very, very stressful, very high anxiety, and you know, honestly, it led to me wanting to eat a lot of comfort food, especially after work. So I'm not surprised I had the cravings at work, and especially after work. But to keep on having it was crazy. But and after I ate, and it was crazy. But yeah, it's been a struggle being at work again. Next week, I may have to take another day off because it's very stressful. But I have a meeting, or whatever. Anyway, yeah. How do you guys fare going back to work? I don't know. I know some people have a couple of desk jobs, I guess. And I know some people like Tosh, she's a nurse. She's always on the go. So how was it when you guys came back? I don't know. I don't want to go back to work until I'm 100% again. I don't know. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. And for anyone who's had their VSG or is about to have it, much of luck and success, because that journey, that road is not easy. So much of luck and God bless. Thank you.